This is Teetotalers, a flash game I made for my LCC 4725 Game Design and Cultural Practices class. My teammates on this project were Lisa Hicks, Michael Yutko, Jerry Fu, and Ferris Hua. Celia Pierce, our professor, gave us two interesting requirements for this project. The first was that there had to be no killing in the game. That is, we couldn't do something like Team Fortress 2, where you go around shooting people to bits and then respawning every time you die. Death in this game had to be non-trivial. Second, we had to design for a group outside of our own. For example, if our group had only guys on it and no girls, then we could design a game for girls. My teammates and I took the interesting approach to this. We decided to make a game for graduating high school students who may be thinking about coming to tech. Technically, all my teammates and I were fourth-year college students, so we fulfilled this requirement, at least in spirit. What we wanted to do was twofold. First, we wanted to show off Tech Campus and its traditions to any prospective students. Second, we thought that it'd be really good if we could create a fun way to teach students about drinking on campus and how to avoid those sorts of problems. Unfortunately, binge drinking has been a problem on Tech Campus for a number of years, and so every year the school tries to find ways to educate the incoming freshman class about how to avoid this problem and to encourage them not to drink. However, in all the students' opinions, most of these measures that they take fail because they're just simply boring. So we wanted to find a fun way to educate students and try and get the message to stick. So we decided to make Teetotalers, which is a game about drinking. Point of Teetotalers is that you're a student on Tech Campus during homecoming weekend and you're at a party and you drink. The game as it exists now on the internet is just a demo of the game that we are creating. We didn't have time to implement all of the levels and all of the features that we wanted to do. In fact, the course was designed so that we would make a demo and not a full-fledged game. The course was more concerned with teaching us how we would go about creating a game rather than actually finishing it. That said, my team and I planned at least 3 to 5 levels, as well as additional features that were not implemented in the actual game. One of these features would have been at the very beginning of the game. You started off at a party where you would be in a drinking game, and the results of this initial drinking game that you play would determine how drunk you start at the beginning of the game. This is the first point where you can actually end the game and get a win or lose state, and though it's the only one of 2 lose states that you could accomplish. If you win the drinking game and drink as much as you can, you could actually die from alcohol poisoning, and once that would happen, a cookie would be placed on your computer saying that so that you wouldn't be able to play the game anymore until you cleared your cookies. We wanted to make the point clear that drinking as much as you can is not something that's fun to do. It is something that's very dangerous, and if you do it, you're not going to play this game anymore. If you decide not to participate in the drinking game at the beginning of the game, if you don't hit any keys, you will lose the drinking game. However, then you'll be free to investigate the rest of the levels in the game without any penalties. If you do drink during the drinking game and you get a little tipsy, you can later investigate campus, but you are going to be a little bit drunk. Your controls are going to be a little wonky. You won't be able to access certain areas because you're drunk. So we punish the player a little bit for participating in a game. The demo we created assumes that you did participate in the drinking game, and now you are at the Student Center on Tech Campus and you're trying to get to Bobby Dodd Stadium where the football game is starting. Tech has a rather notorious tradition of having students steal keys off of buildings, road signs, whatever they can get their hands on. So that's where the name of the game comes from. It's something that students often do especially when they're drunk and aren't thinking about the consequences so clearly. So that's the point of this game, is that you're drunk and in a moment of rashness you decide, hey, I'm going to go steal a tee off of the Bobby Dodd Stadium. Therefore, the point of the game is to successfully get over to Bobby Dodd Stadium and reach the tee. And at the same time, you're going to have to avoid the cops on segways that are patrolling campus. Also, if you hit squirrels, which there's lots of squirrels on campus, it'll trip you up and slow you down. You can also trip on trash that's littered on campus, so that's another obstacle for you to avoid. The more drunk you are, the harder it is to control the little character, because we use the drunk meter on the side of the screen to seed a random generator for an offset on the key controls. So you don't want to be really, really drunk, but you also don't want to get completely sober, because once you become sober, you realize that this is a stupid idea and you should stop doing it, and the game ends. A major challenge with this project was the tight time schedule we had. We had a little less than half a semester to work on this. However, none of my teammates or I had a lot of experience coding in Flash, so we had to spend a lot of time learning how to code in Flash, and that contributed to some problems later on when we realized there was probably a better way to code a particular section of the game. However, overall, the game was a success as a demo. Now here is some video of the game in action. I drew most of the art for the game, aside from the actual characters and the map. Here we see the character starts off at a certain drunk level. The character actually has a better walking animation than that. The video recording software I used just didn't capture it very well. The police will auto-lock on to the character once he walks near them, and they'll continue to follow him even if they're off screen. As you can see, he's kind of jerking around because the drunk meter is fairly high. Drinking water will lower the drunk meter. Now here is, that's actually the original design we were using as a template for the student character. This is just simulating the cords of people that are usually around Bobby Dodd Stadium during a football game. And there is the tee that has to be stung. And the game is won. That was the first win condition, is successfully reaching the tee. Another win condition is if you do not continue to drink and you let your drunk meter deteriorate. And then initially we were going to have the student be able to then walk around campus freely, but we had to cut it down for time. And here is the one lose condition that we implemented. And I'll show you that in a minute. And the video kind of cut it off, but you were caught by the police and then suspended for being drunk on campus. And thank you for watching my video.